All right, everybody, let's see if this reading is for you. Pinch your fingers together and ask, is there something here I can learn from? And if the answer is yes, you're going to pull your fingers and they're going to stay together. If the answer is no, you'll pull your fingers and they will stay apart. They will split. So what we're asking here today is, what's the biggest thing I need to forgive in my life right now? Okay, and the idea here is, there's probably many of things in your life that require forgiveness. This is, what's the thing that if I can really tackle this one is going to have the biggest payout for me, the biggest cachet. Okay? So here we have a 9-card box plot, houses spread. And so as I look at this, it becomes very clear to me that what we're looking at is a past relationship, maybe a present relationship, but definitely a relationship that needs to be forgiven. So if we look here, the way I'm coming to that is I see ring in the house of tree and I see heart in the house of man. And one of the filters that I put on this was that the woman card would represent all of you, whether you are male, female, or otherwise. And the man card would represent significant others. And I did not force these cards to come out. They came out randomly. So there was a chance that this wouldn't even include a woman or man card. So here we have both. Okay? And as we look at this at a deep body level, okay, so your subconscious, you have heart in man, all right? So there was this love that you had for somebody that you feel wronged by in some way, all right? You feel like someone took something from you and they really shouldn't have, all right? You feel stolen from. They took something deep, all right? And this belief is causing you to literally hemorrhage energy. You have tree in the house of cross. All right, so you are draining your life force over this relationship that may not even exist anymore. But you are keeping a bad relationship alive at a body level, at a feeling level, because you were so impacted by what happened. So let's take a look at what happened. So it looks like there was somebody in your life that you had a lot of trust for. We have bouquet in the house of ship. So, you felt good about this person financially. We have clover in the house of dog. So, there was a little bit of good feeling there as far as loyalty and trust go. But at some point, this crossed an important line. Okay? And it crossed the line into anchor in the house of bear. So anchor is generally a very positive card. But in this case and in this context, what I'm seeing is that at some point you crossed a line and you gave all your power away. All right? You gave too much of your personal power and personal authority over your life to another person. Okay? You have a story at a body level that they took it from you. And you know what? Maybe they wanted it, and maybe that was wrong, but it was yours to give or withhold, and you chose to give it. Why did you choose to give it? Because it felt good, right? It felt good to not have to be the one in charge, the one in control. We have child in the house of the querent card, in the house of woman. So it just, felt good to just be able to just be naive and kind of just let someone else run the show. All right? But this is a choice you made. That's not the story you have in your body. The story you have in your body is that this was taken from you and you are draining your life force every day over it. But the reality is you actually gave that away. All right? And that led you into a place where your commitment was the most unhealthy thing in your life. And on a practical level, it led to a lot of arguing, turning each other into enemies, and just like a really, really bad feeling by the end, assuming this has already ended. I think for most of you, it probably will have, but this could be describing a present relationship. It's possible. So, this is not an uncommon story, right? I mean, we've all been in things like this. But when this is draining your energy, you have to find a way to let go of it. And the problem is that letting go of it is not a simple shift in the attention, right? You can shift your attention the way I teach in my meditation classes, and that will give you a reprieve. It'll give you a little time to fill your energy back up, and that might provide some clarity, but that doesn't provide forgiveness. Where the forgiveness comes from is two places. One, you need to actually take responsibility for your role. And two, you need to try and understand them. Okay? Understanding is not the same as saying what you did was the correct thing to do. All right? Forgiveness is not consent. But that understanding is actually important. I think the way to do that is to go back through your own life and think of times you've wronged people. And actually, if you were trying to explain to somebody why that doesn't make you a horrible person, what would you say? You know, you would say something like, I'm so sorry. I was so caught up in something that I thought I needed that I could not help myself. You know, I feel like if I knew better, I would have done better, but I was just so caught up. I was just so angry or just so needy or just so depressed that I took what I thought I needed and I did it without enough consideration of what it was going to do to you. Or I was so angry about something you did that I felt justified. But whatever there is in your own life, there is always a narrative that makes you understandable. You need to look at this other person and provide them with a similar narrative. Try and understand how a person might get so caught up in something that they felt justified in doing this to you or justified in doing something that wasn't justified, you know, justified in some desperate measure. You know, there's always a reason. We know people have parents sometimes that just set them up in a way where they don't have the proper understandings of life, and these things happen and they cause pain, and then that pain teaches us, and from that pain happening over and over we get to the next level, right? It's the mechanism of life. So you need to find some understanding, and that's going to require some introspection into your own transgressions. All right? But then the other thing you need to do is take responsibility for your own role here. Okay? You gave this power up. You didn't have to. You could have said no at any point. You could have held your ground. All right? If they really needed that from you, they would have put pain into the relationship if you said no, and then you either stay and take that pain or you leave. But again, that's your choice. You've made a choice. Okay? I'm not saying it's fair what happened. I'm just saying the road to no longer hemorrhaging energy is to know what you would do differently if you could go back. To know what you're going to do differently the next time. And you just can't have that if you have a victim narrative. All right? You have to actually own your power of choice in this relationship. Okay? Now, don't go crazy with that, all right? If someone's in a physically abusive relationship, I'm not saying it's your fault. Okay? But we've all been in relationships where we gave too much of ourselves away, and that's the part you need to own. Okay? But yeah, I would take some time today. I would sit down in meditation and just get yourself comfortable and get yourself into a safe space, and then open up a dialogue with yourself about this and just talk your way through it and start finding ways to understand them and slowly let go of this. All right, everybody, that's what I have for you today. If you've ever like a reading of your own, feel free to reach out. Find me at hiddenpathways.com. Otherwise, I'll see you in another video.